Welcome back to The Post TV, Season 5, Episode 3. I'm Abby Hyde.
And I'm Haley Mitchell. Thanks for joining us. The Multicultural Center held its monthly First Fridays event, a themed social event for students to meet new people on campus. This event's theme celebrated Black History Month. The Multicultural Center provided activities, food, and music to help students relax and build a community and meet different people. First Fridays is a relatively new event, having started in the fall semester this year. It is student-driven and encourages feedback from students to shape its future. This will be the fourth month of the event, and the MCC hopes to continue the tradition.
We try and generate a sense of community where we can. It's new, so the idea is still working to gain some steam, but we've gotten a lot of enthusiasm from it. It's a staple event that we're trying to incorporate into the MCC just to give the students, a foundational event that they can, always anticipate happening.
As the name suggests, this event will be held on the first Friday of every month. Their next event will be on Friday, March 7th.
The Dairy Barn Arts Center, located on Dairy Lane, offers many different classes that are fun for the whole family, including one called Create to Donate. This class is a free event offered for any skill level where participants of the class make personalized pottery bowls to donate to charities. The Dairy Barn provides many other instructional classes that are perfect for organizations or clubs to create projects in their fiber, digital, or ceramic studios.
I went to the Create to Donate class and I worked with the pottery class that they were doing. I had done a little bit of pottery in high school for a class and I had never really enjoyed it too much, but when I wanted to try it again, and I did really enjoy doing it up at the Dairy Barn.
Over the past year, multiple small businesses in Athens have closed, leaving current business owners worried and the community disappointed.
Just doesn't seem to be this push from Athens to keep mom and pop businesses.
Uptown Athens has always been known for its variety of local businesses, but in recent years, that charm has faded away.
I've lived in this town long enough. I have friends who work in some of these other small businesses, people I care about, and so it's hard to see them struggling.
Celeste Polsinelli, co-owner of Little Professor Book Center, says recent improvements to the Lostro building has caused problems for several businesses, including Jack Neal Florist and Grub & Go, which are now closed.
They need to be done, and we understand that. The issue has become that sometimes the city is not good about communicating with businesses about those things, and also that the construction can be very disruptive to the flow of business.
On the other side of Athens, co-owner of Ohio Valley Running Company, Jonathan Bernard, is experiencing different struggles.
We've never been in a tight spot before in 8 years, and suddenly we found ourselves in a place we'd never been.
Bernard tells me COVID shopping has changed people's shopping habits. They don't even need to leave TikTok to buy the same shoes he sells at his store.
We were banging our heads on the door trying to figure out how to reach customers.
Bernard says he made a Facebook post sharing how they've never been in this predicament before. He says he just wants to be vulnerable with his customers.
This has been an ongoing problem in Athens. Mayor Patterson says it's about advertising your business and getting people in your door. He says it's going to be challenging, but that's how local economies work.
Despite Athens businesses closing, there's an Athens native trying to help the problem. Betsy Frangiola revitalized an old industry in Appalachia. The Hocking Hills Garment Center is an industrial sewing school that is training locals in the art of garment creation.
I grew up in Athens, Ohio. I'm really familiar with this area. My best friend moved back to the area 15 years ago, and she's in pharmacy and she teaches at the university, and so she started a rural medical clinic for the medical students and the pharmacy students. And we would talk on the phone and she'd just share these really sad stories just about the poverty in the area and people with drug addiction. And what she was saying is that we just need jobs. We need more industry in this region. And the frustration she had that there were these federal dollars to get workforce development, but no industries were coming.
Frangiola, with her background in fashion and the industry that comes with it, made the move from Los Angeles back to Athens. With passion sewn into every stride, she is making the effort to impact all who live in Southeast Ohio.
I found a school in Detroit. They're called Isaac, which is the Industrial Sewing and Innovation Center. and they developed an industrial sewing curriculum. So we were able to license that curriculum and use it here, and then when people complete it, they get a certificate that is recognized by the U.S. Department of Labor.
Another episode of Blue Line Banter is here. This week, Cassie and Andrew talk about the Four Nations face-off, what the rosters will look like, and who they think will win it all. USA just beat Canada, so they clinched the spot in the Four Nations face-off game.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Blue Line Banter. I'm Cassie.
And I'm Andrew.
And I know we said last week we'd start with Four Nations. However, after we recorded last week, JT Miller got traded.
This was completely unfair to us because I don't even think it was 2 hours after. I mean, it was pretty soon after we finished recording. I get the notification that JT Miller had been traded. And I was like, okay, well, we just talked about, he might get traded. And then it happened. So it's just funny. It happened literally right after we're done recording. Goes to the Rangers, which I think was kind of expected.
Yeah, that's what we said on last week's episode too.
Coming up, we have all things love, from a Valentine's Day event sponsored by the Athens Humane Society to a blind dating event at Pigskin Bar and Grill. But first, here's Chase with sports.
Thanks, Haley and Abby. I'm Chase Borland with Everything Ohio University Sports. To start off, Ohio women's basketball lost to Buffalo this past weekend, 67-79. The score remained close throughout the game, but the fourth quarter turned slow with the Bobcats unable to hit their mark. Your Bobcats are currently 4-19 and take on 12-12 Northern Illinois Huskies Wednesday 7 p.m. in the Convo. Ohio men's basketball took on both Bowling Green and Kent State this past week, picking up a win and a loss, 86-81 against the Falcons, and a close loss, 76-75 against the Golden Flashes. Neither Ohio nor Kent was able to get more than 11 points more than the other the entirety of the game, with Kent narrowly slipping by at the end. The 13-12 Bobcats take on Central Michigan tomorrow at 7 p.m. in the Convo. You can watch both the men's and the women's basketball games on ESPN+. Ohio hockey took on the Minot Beavers over the weekend on Saturday, losing in overtime 3-2, and Sunday losing 3-2. Fans were on the edge of their seats Saturday as the game went into a shootout, with Matthew Aver scoring the tying goal to send it into overtime. After 5 minutes of 3-on-3 hockey, the game went into a shootout. Baron Stibbe was the only one to score during the shootout. Hockey goes on the road this week to take on Liberty, which is 1-3 to your Bobcats this season thus far. Ohio wrestling lost to Southern Illinois University Edwardsville Friday 12-22. The Bobcats take on Buffalo this Sunday, 1 p.m. on the road. Ohio baseball traveled to South Carolina over the weekend to take on Wofford. The Bobcats unfortunately lost all 3 games, 1-11, 8-9, and 12-13 for a rough start to the season. They traveled to Georgia to take on West Georgia this weekend. Ohio softball had a rough weekend in Arizona at the Bear Down Fiesta, losing twice to Cal State Fullerton, once to Arizona, and picking up 1 win and 1 loss to South Alabama. They traveled to South Carolina for the Low Country Classic to take on Charleston, Dartmouth, and Rhode Island. Now back to Haley and Abby.
The Athens Humane Society hosted a Valentine's Day lunch to celebrate platonic love with your BFF. Held at the Ohio University Inn, the Humane Society provided a luncheon with a specialty Galentine's cocktail. The entertainment for the afternoon was Mary Miller, an improv comedian, songstress, and Motor City woman of comedy. The event was filled with laughter and singing from both Miller and the audience. Tickets cost $75 per person, and all proceeds went toward the animal residents of Athens County Humane Society. The Valentine's Day luncheon helped raise money for our furry friends and celebrating our human ones.
The ACRN hosted their emo prom at the Union on Saturday, where students could dress up in their best prom attire while unleashing their inner radio rebel with punk rock music.
7 years ago, our fathers.
The Union Bar held the annual ACRM event Punk Prom on Saturday, February 15th. The event provided a stage for various local bands and auctions.
This one's kind of definitely a big tradition for ACRN. The prom has been around forever in some capacity, in some form also. So kind of just keeping that tradition going and giving people a fun event that draws bands from within the local community and also regionally. We have bands from Cincinnati and Louisville, Kentucky playing tonight, so that's exciting. Also just kind of helps spread awareness about ACRN and if people want to get involved in the cool stuff we do. Kind of the initial thing was like figuring out the date we wanted to have it on. We've always kind of, in the past years, we've had it around Valentine's Day and stuff like that, so we thought that would be a good time to have it again. And then kind of like figuring out a theme. We've had like goth and emo prom in the past, but this year we kind of wanted to have like a punk prom, kind of widen the pool of like inspiration for people to like dress up and like figure out outfits for.
So once we have that theme figured out, we then start looking around for bands that we think would really fit that theme. Looking at bands like we haven't really booked before or we haven't really seen in Athens, which I thought we really did pretty well for the bill tonight.
In terms of kind of the idea of making it just a very kind of general prom, a lot of it was kind of a discussion that me and Evan had going back and forth a lot. And, you know, we're really big fans of like post-punk and kind of stuff like that. And we were kind of looking at doing something like that, but I think eventually like the idea just kind of be like, well, what if we just had, you know, just a really general punk prom? And so this is our first time, I think, doing this in the time that we've been here at least. And so hopefully it'll be really exciting. So, yeah.
We spoke to members from the band Anake about their group and the event.
We're inspired by a lot of stuff, but we like tonight we're gonna try to give a little bit of like post-punk and psych rock, but we are also like inspired by like kind of the neo-country thing, like Big Thief and all sorts of indie. But we're trying, since it's like punk prom, we're trying to get a little bit more of a gritty edge tonight.
Yeah, just trying to be like, I guess, more aggressive than we normally be.
Just as animated as possible.
And we like in other bands, we play this type of stuff, but this band has been more, I guess, quiet in a sense. So we're leaning to like our other styles that we usually play.
The Chaddock and Morrow College of Fine Arts School of Dance held its 2025 Winter Dance Concert. The event was free to attend for university students to watch the hard work their fellow students have put into the performance. The show featured 7 new choreographed dances by the School of Dance faculty and several guest artists. The dances were emotionally poignant, like Catherine Ferrier's Be So Long, which evokes a feeling of loneliness and longing inspired by whale songs. Other dances drew on feelings of acceptance, courage, individuality, and political unrest through movement and song. All 7 works presented a variety of dance genres and highlighted the collaborative efforts of the faculty, students, and guest artists to create a cohesive and evocative performance that captured the audience's attention. Everyone who showed up to the Winter Dance Concert helped support the arts here at Ohio University. You can keep an eye out for future shows by the School of Dance on the university's events calendar.
The night before Valentine's Day, the Pigskin hosted a blind dating event where students could find last-minute dates or just have a fun night out and meet new people. Thursday, February 13th at 9:30 p.m., the Pigskin invited all single people looking to fall in love to a blind dating event. Attendees were asked questions by the host and determined whether they would go on a second date. Blind dating seems like it would be a scary thing to put yourself out there, but the fun environment surrounded by friends provided a stress-free night of fun. Whether you found your soulmate or not, the event was a guaranteed good time.
That's all we have for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Don't forget to follow us on all of our socials. We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X at thepost Athens. Have a fun and safe week, Bobcats. We'll see you next time.